This deep dive, well, it's intense, really intense. We're going deep into how a road accident saved my life. It's an anonymous first person account, and wow, it really takes us to the edge.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's powerful, a powerful testament to the depths of despair.
Yeah.
You know, the heartbreak can bring, and how close one person came to giving up.
Yeah, it's a tough story, for sure. But so let's start with the relationship. The one that sets this whole chain of events in motion. The author, he describes this like whirlwind romance with Elizabeth. He calls her a quote, traditional Indian girl, and he clearly puts her like way up on a pedestal early on. What do you make of that?
Hmm. Well, it's interesting, right, how the author frames Elizabeth
Yeah.
right from the very beginning. The phrase traditional Indian girl, I don't know, it could suggest maybe a certain level of exoticism or idealization, perhaps even like I don't know, a cultural fascination that played into his initial attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that cultural element, it definitely keeps coming up. He talks about experiencing parts of her culture through her, which makes the eventual fallout all the more complex. Because things do take a turn, right?
Oh, yeah, they do. The relationship dynamic shifts, like dramatically. Elizabeth, she starts pushing for secrecy, demanding that their relationship, you know, stay hidden. And this secrecy, it seems to really unsettle the author.
It's more than unsettling. Like, he feels betrayed, by her need to hide their connection. Especially after she had just met his mother. It's like a double blow to his trust and to his ego.
Absolutely, a double blow for sure. And this is where the role of his friend David, well, it adds another layer of complexity. Initially, David seems supportive. He acknowledges like the author's pain. But then we learn about a significant betrayal.
Yeah. That betrayal, that to me is like a turning point in the whole story. David essentially validates Elizabeth's actions. He minimizes the author's feelings. It makes me wonder, could David's betrayal, could it have been a way of distancing himself from the intensity of the whole situation? Or even, protecting his own relationship with Elizabeth?
That's a fascinating perspective. It adds a new dimension,
Hmm.
for sure,
Yeah.
to their friendship, to their dynamic. Instead of just being like David's the bad friend, maybe his actions stem from a place of discomfort or even, maybe fear. It highlights those like nuances of human relationships, especially when you're like navigating these emotionally charged situations.
Right. Right. And this betrayal, combined with the breakup, it pushes the author into a dark spiral. He turns to social media and pornography, trying to, just numb the pain. To me, these coping mechanisms, well, they're unhealthy, but they point to a deeper issue, like a societal issue. The lack of healthy outlets for men, especially in certain cultures, to process their emotions.
That's an incredibly insightful observation, really. You've touched upon a crucial point. Societal expectations, they often limit how men are like allowed to express their emotions. This, coupled with the author's background, his cultural background, likely played a significant role in his struggle. He's dealing with this like immense emotional pain, but I don't know, he feels trapped, you know, by these unspoken rules.
Absolutely. And on top of the emotional turmoil, he's facing all this pressure from these upcoming board exams, which adds, just another layer of anxiety and self-doubt. It pushes him further into isolation. And there's this one anecdote about a physical education practical exam that I found, I don't know, is just particularly poignant.
Shirt signing.
Yeah. The shirt signing, it seemed like, I don't know, just a harmless tradition. But for the author, it became a symbol, like a stark symbol of his invisibility. Everyone else was surrounded by friends, celebrating like their camaraderie, but he just felt utterly alone. And it just speaks volumes about his internal state at that moment. It's such a powerful moment in the story. It leads him to make the decision to end his life. It's almost as if like that event, that seemingly insignificant event, it crystallized his feelings of worthlessness, and it just pushed him over the edge. And
Yeah.
then he meticulously plans his suicide, intending to make it look accidental.
It's chilling, isn't it? This deliberate planning. I mean, it really underscores the depth of his despair, the sense of hopelessness that had completely, enveloped him. But it's also important to think about the cultural context. Suicide carries a heavy stigma in many cultures, especially those with, strong religious beliefs. His desire to disguise his suicide as an accident might stem from a need to protect his family from the shame and judgment that's often, associated with suicide.
Yeah, that's a perspective I hadn't really considered. It adds another layer of tragedy to the whole situation. It highlights those like societal pressures that likely contributed to his decision. And then just when it seems like all hope is lost, a seemingly insignificant decision changes everything.
Sean, right.
Right.
His steadfast friend, he asks for a ride home,
Yeah.
suggesting they take a long ride first.
Yeah. And the author, unknowingly embarking on what he believes to be his like final journey, he agrees.
And they're riding fast, as usual. And then suddenly they crash.
It's like fate stepped in
Mm.
and like disrupted his carefully laid plans. What strikes me is how he describes this moment. It's not fear, it's not regret, but like a sense of relief, as if he's finally found the escape he was looking for.
That's that's a crucial detail. It underscores how deeply entrenched he was in his despair, how the desire to escape his pain, it had just overshadowed everything else. The accident, it's tragic, but it becomes this like unexpected intervention.
Yeah. He survives the accident, but he's seriously injured. John thankfully escapes with just some, I think, minor scrapes, and he just takes charge, handling everything in the aftermath.
John's actions, they speak volumes about his character. He's not just a loyal friend. He's capable
Yeah.
and responsible. He steps up without hesitation. It highlights the contrast between his genuine concern and David's, earlier betrayal.
Yeah. It's at John's house after the hospital that the author experiences this like profound shift in perspective. Instead of calling the author's mother with the news, John asks her to come in person.
And when she arrives, John, who the author describes as someone he's never even seen cry before, breaks down. In front of her, it's just this raw display of emotion that completely shatters the author's, perception of his friend.
And it's in this unexpected moment, this moment of vulnerability, that the author, he begins to see the like ripple effects, of his intended actions. He realizes the depth of John's care and the devastating impact that his death would have had on those who genuinely love him.
That moment of realization, it's
Yeah.
powerful. It speaks to the transformative potential of witnessing genuine emotion, of seeing yourself through the eyes of someone who truly cares for you. The author's, those carefully constructed walls of isolation, they start to crumble, allowing a glimmer of hope to shine through.
It's a powerful turning point. It highlights the complexities of human connection and the unexpected ways in which, redemption can unfold. It's remarkable, right, how this accident that he intended to be the end, it became like a catalyst for this profound shift, in his perspective.
Yeah, it's like the crash just jolted him back to reality. It shattered that, that tunnel vision of despair that he'd been trapped in. He was forced to confront the very real consequences of his actions, not just for himself, but for those who cared about him.
And he doesn't sugarcoat it. He admits that he still hates the situation.
Uh-huh.
That the pain from the breakup, from the betrayal, it's still very much there. But there's this newfound determination to keep going. It's like he's been given a second chance, even if he didn't want it at first.
It's like the the classic hero's journey, right? He's been to the brink of destruction, and he emerges transformed. The challenge, the pain. I mean, those became the very things that forged his resilience.
And it's interesting how his perspective on the board exams, like how that changes too. Before the accident, they were just another source of pressure, another reason to just give up. But now he sees them differently.
He recognizes that failure is a possibility, but it doesn't define him anymore.
Yeah.
It's a powerful shift in his mindset.
Yep.
From a place of fear and self-doubt to one of acceptance and a willingness to try.
And I think this is where his story, it transcends, just his personal experience. It offers a valuable lesson for anyone who's battling suicidal thoughts.
Oh, absolutely. He directly addresses those in a similar place,
Yeah.
that dark place. He urges them to understand that suicide, it doesn't end the pain. It transfers it to loved ones.
Yeah. His words are a powerful reminder that even in our darkest moments, our actions, they have these ripple effects on those around us. And sometimes it's that realization, that understanding of our interconnectedness that can pull us back from the brink.
He emphasizes that even when it feels like the world has turned its back on you, there are people who care, people who would be devastated,
Right.
By your loss. And this brings us to a crucial point: the importance of seeking help, of reaching out to those who can provide a lifeline when you need it most.
Yeah. We hear that message a lot, but it takes on a whole new meaning, when you hear it from someone who's been there, who's walked that path, who's stared into the abyss and come back.
Exactly. This isn't just, like a platitude. It's a lived experience. The author's account, it highlights the power of vulnerability, of admitting that you need help and allowing others to support you. And it underscores the need for better resources, for better mental health resources and support systems.
This deep dive, it's been, it's been an emotional roller coaster, to say the least. It's a stark reminder that behind the statistics, the statistics about suicide, are real people, each with their own story, their own struggles, their own hopes and dreams.
What really struck me, was how the author's story, it challenges us to look beyond the surface, to recognize the hidden pain that so many people, they carry it with them.
It's a call, a call to cultivate empathy and compassion, to be more present in the lives of those around us, because you never know what someone might be going through.
And it's a reminder that even small gestures, like, just a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, those can make a world of difference. We all have the potential to be that lifeline for someone who's struggling.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in those statistics, right? The numbers surrounding suicide. But this account, it really personalizes it, reminds us that every number, it represents a life, a story filled with complexities and challenges.
Yeah. And this deep dive, it really emphasizes those seemingly insignificant moments. A friend's concern, just, listening to someone. Those small acts, they can be monumental for someone who's struggling with those thoughts, with suicidal thoughts.
Right. It's a reminder that we all have the potential to make a difference, even without realizing it. Sometimes a simple gesture, like just a gesture of kindness, it can have a profound impact on someone who's hurting.
It makes you think, right, what if he had responded differently? Could a more supportive reaction from him, could that have, altered the author's, altered his path?
That's a really interesting question. It highlights, the profound influence our actions can have on others, even in those casual, those everyday interactions.
This source material, it's a call to action. It challenges us to be more aware of the struggles of those around us, to look beyond the surface and recognize the signs of someone who might be silently battling those suicidal thoughts.
And to create environments, environments where vulnerability is met with compassion and understanding, where individuals feel safe to express their pain without fear of judgment.
And if we connect this back to the broader context, to society, it underscores the urgent need for better mental health resources and support systems.
Yeah.
We need to break down the barriers of shame and stigma that often prevent people from seeking help.
Yeah.
From reaching out.
This account, it really demonstrates that every life holds value. Everyone deserves to feel seen and heard and supported, and each one of us can play a role in creating a world where suicide is not just a tragic reality, but a preventable one.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with this question: how can we as individuals and as a society, how can we better support those who feel invisible? How can we extend a hand of compassion, and remind them that they're not alone? And this is something I hope you'll continue to reflect on.
Yeah, it's a question worth pondering, for sure. If there's one key takeaway from this deeply moving account, it's the power, the immense power of human connection. Even in the darkest moments, it can be a lifeline. So let's all strive to be a source of light and support for those around us. We may never fully grasp the impact.
Well, on that note, we'll see you in the next deep dive.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.